Quote, "This is why the Prophet said concerning the creation of Adam, God created Adam in his form. For Adam is an exemplar synthesizing all the constituent elements of the divine presence, namely the essence, the attributes, and the actions. The expression his form means nothing but the divine presence itself. Thus God has put into this noble epitome the perfect man, as symbolized by Adam, all the divine names and the realities of all things existing outside of him in the macrocosm, which apparently subsists independently of him." That passage provides an explanation of the concept of human comprehensiveness. As we've explained in the previous video, the perfect human encompasses within themselves all aspects of the cosmos, including the four natural elements, minerals, plants, and animals. However, it is important to note that these elements do not exist within the human in their concrete individual forms, but rather as abstract realities representing their universal nature. The human being serves as a synthesis of the non-material realities of these individual elements, gathering together the diverse aspects of the cosmos. In the specific sense, the perfect human symbolizes the entirety of the cosmos. Hi, I'm Angga Rifka. Please help me share my videos to your friends if you find them useful, and subscribe this small channel if you haven't. You can also support this unmonetized channel in Patreon or PayPal. In this video, we are going to continue exploring Ibn Arabi's metaphysical anthropology on the perfect human. Quote, "All that exists in the divine form, that is, God's names, appears in the human structure. Hence, these forms attained the rank of being encompassed and included in the existence of the human structure." According to Ibn Arabi's perspective, the perfection of humanity and their elevated position are attributed to their microcosmic nature, referred to as their comprehensiveness. This comprehensiveness is defined by their ability to faithfully reflect and embody the comprehensive nature of the divine. Ibn Arabi himself also enjoyed playing on word meanings. It reveals the deeper meaning of insan in his exposition. This being, as the comprehensive being, is called human and also vicegerent or khalifa. As for his humanness, it derives from his comprehensive structure and his comprising of all the realities. Because the human being relates to al-Haq as the pupil relates to the eye, and through the pupil seeing occurs. Hence he is called insan, meaning human being and pupil, because through him al-Haq looks at his creation and has mercy on them. At the cosmic level, the human being possesses an inherent and flawless comprehensiveness. This comprehensive nature enables them to encompass within themselves all the entities of the cosmos, not in their individual forms but in their universal essence. As a result, the human being exhibits two distinctive qualities that are exclusive to them. Firstly, they are the sole being truly and entirely deserving of being a perfect servant of God. Unlike all other beings which only reflect a single divine attribute and thus cannot be considered perfect servants, the human being fully embodies and reflects God. The second noteworthy characteristic of the human being is their association with al-Haq in a particular sense. Well, we can say that al-Haq is the inner reality of non-human entities. It would be inaccurate to assert that they are the inner reality of al-Haq, as they are really merely incomplete manifestations of al-Haq. In concise form, Ibn Arabi captures these two characteristics of the human being in the following passage. Quote, "We are really servants and God is our master. We are his self, know this, when you say a human being." That is to say, we are servants in the true sense of the word, because we serve him with an essential service. It acts with the most comprehensive unity which is realized on the ontological level of God, while God with the whole of his names is our master, governing us, administering our affairs. We are different in this respect from the rest of beings, for they are his servants merely in certain aspects, and God is their master with some of his names. The perfect human is the inner reality of al-Haq because he appears in the form of the latter with its comprehensive unity. The rest of the things, on the contrary, al-Haq is the inner reality of each one of them, are not the inner reality of al-Haq because they are but loci of manifestation for some of the names, so that al-Haq doesn't manifest itself in them in its essential form. But when I say human, meaning thereby the perfect human, it est human perfect in humanity. What is meant is the being in which al-Haq manifests himself in his essential form. Human in this sense is the very reality of al-Haq. In Ibn Arabi's vocabulary, the term servant and lordship hold important meaning. While the term servant commonly refers to the obligation of every human to surrender himself to the divine will, Ibn Arabi imparts specific connotations to these terms that become evident when considering other aspects of his writings. This can be observed in a passage from Futuhat where Ibn Arabi discusses Ibn Abbas's teaching. Quote, Ibn Abbas said, "The meaning of the words 'to serve me' is 'to know me.' So he didn't explain in terms of what is given by the reality of the word's denotation. Its explanation can only be 'to be lowly toward me.' But none is lowly toward him unless he knows him. So it is necessary first to know him, and then to know the fact that he is the possessor of mightiness, before which the mighty are lowly. Hence Ibn Abbas turned his explanation of service to knowledge. In his discussion of Ibn Abbas, Ibn Arabi explores both the literal and metaphorical meanings of the relationship between the Lord and a servant. The literal interpretation depicts the servant as being lowly in comparison to the Lord, occupying a subordinate position in terms of status and authority. However, the act of serving also entails knowing the Lord. According to Ibn Arabi's interpretation of Ibn Abbas, one cannot truly serve God without first having knowledge of God. Thus, the concept of being a servant in relation to the Lord not only implies subservience but also signifies a deeper metaphorical understanding of the Lord. It is this metaphorical level of meaning that Ibn Arabi primarily focuses on. Regarding the existence of the human being as a servant within the cosmic order and their spiritual journey towards God, Ibn Arabi further elaborates. Quote, hence, throughout this journey, the servant remains he and not he. And since he remains God and not God, he makes the servant travel with respect to him, not with respect to what is not him, in a subtle spiritual journey. When Ibn Arabi describes the servant as not he is referring to the conventional understanding of the human self as a part of the worldly and temporal realm, seen as fundamentally different from the divine. However, in reality, the individual human is not merely a component of the physical world, entirely separate from God. Instead, they possess a unique spiritual potential to actualize themselves as the perfect human, whose existence mirrors that of the divine in an exceptionally comprehensive manner. The subtle spiritual journey in this context signifies the servant's growing realization that their essence more accurately resembles that of God rather than the cosmos. Moreover, the servant's knowledge of the Lord involves recognizing the essential unity between themselves and God, understanding that they are in fact one and the same. Thus, the servant is also God. Therefore, when Ibn Arabi acknowledges himself as a servant, it primarily signifies not a relationship of subservience to God in the conventional sense, but first and foremost, a deep understanding. Through his discussion of Ibn Abbas, Ibn Arabi suggests that servanthood denotes a particular type of knowledge that arises within the servant-God relationship. Through servanthood then implies a more perfect or complete knowledge of God. This knowledge appears to be of a specific nature, the realization that one is not truly separate from God and that a certain form of union or unity exists between oneself and God. Concerning such an intricate picture, Ibn Arabi explains it in terms of the two names of God, the inward and the outward. Quote, "You must know further that God describes himself as being the inward and the outward. He has correspondingly produced the world of the unseen and the world of sensory experience so that we might perceive the inward by our own unseen element and the outward by our sensible element. You must have understood by now the real nature of Adam, it as his outward form, as well as the real nature of his spirit, it as his inward form. Adam is al-Haq in view of his inward form and a creature in view of his outward form. You know also the real nature of his ontological rank, which, being a synthesis, makes him entitled to be the vicegerent of God. The perfect human, represented by Adam, occupies a central position between al-Haq and the creatures. This position allows him to reflect and embody both aspects, serving as a synthesis or convergence of the two forms. In his outward aspect, he manifests the form and realities of the created world, while in his inward aspect, he reveals the very form of al-Haq and his essential divine names. Ibn Arabi establishes a connection between this understanding and the reasoning behind God's creation of Adam using his two hands. Quote, "God jointed his two hands for creating Adam. This he did solely by way of conferring upon him a great honor. And this is why he said to Iblis, 'What hinders thee from falling prostrate before that which I have created with both my hands?' The joining of his two hands symbolizes nothing other than the fact that Adam synthesizes in him two forms, the form of the Word and the form of al-Haq. These two are the hands of God. Iblis, on the contrary, is but a part of the Word, and this comprehensiveness or combination has not been given him. Furthermore, due to this synthesis and complete comprehensiveness, the rank of humans surpasses even that of angels. Quote, "The angels were neither aware of the structure of this vicegerent nor the essential servitude required by the presence of al-Haq, for no one knows about al-Haq except that which is given to him by one's essence. The angels neither had the comprehensive nature of Adam nor perceived the divine names which particularize his nature and through which God is glorified and sanctified. Moreover, the angels didn't know that God has other names by which they can glorify and sanctify him as Adam did. The situation which we have mentioned overwhelmed them and caused them to say concerning the structure of the human being, 'How can you put someone there who will cause damage and bloodshed?' These words express only quarreling, and the essence of their behavior, that is, what they said regarding Adam, equals their attitude toward al-Haq. If their structure had not imposed on them such an ignorance of God's names, having been unaware of this imposition, they would not have said what they said concerning Adam. If they had known their souls or selves, they would have known their predisposition. And if they had known, they would have been protected from ascribing sins to the human being. Moreover, the angels didn't cease disparaging Adam, but added the claim that contrary to Adam, they glorify and sanctify God. Adam knew the divine names which the angels didn't know. Hence, they could neither glorify their Lord nor sanctify him through these names as Adam did. In the Quran it is said, "And he taught Adam the names, all of them. Then he led them before the angels and said, 'Tell me the names of these if you are truthful.'" In the Quranic verse, it is mentioned that God taught Adam all the divine names and presented them to the angels, challenging them to identify those names if they were truthful. This means, according to Ibn Arabi, that human represents and actualizes all the divine names. The angels, on the contrary, manifest only some of the names. But they are not aware of it, they lack awareness of their limitation. This profound insight highlights the exceptional status of the perfect human who, through their synthesis and perfect comprehensiveness, actualizes the complete spectrum of divine names. It is through the human's unique capacity to reflect and embody these divine names that their rank surpasses even that of the angels. This realization underscores the inherent greatness and potential of the human being, as they carry within them the capacity to manifest and comprehend the divine in a comprehensive and profound manner. In conclusion, the concept of the perfect human, as elucidated by Ibn Arabi, offers a profound understanding of the human's role in the cosmic order. Through their synthesis, comprehensiveness, and embodiment of the divine names, the perfect human holds a position of immense significance and surpasses even the angelic realm. This insight encourages individuals to embrace their spiritual potential, strive for self-realization, and deepen their connection with the divine, ultimately leading to a greater understanding of their own purpose within the cosmos. Thank you so much for watching. I would be truly grateful if you could kindly consider supporting my non-monetized YouTube channel. Your encouragement and appreciation would mean the world to me and inspire me to continue creating content that I hope you find valuable. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'll see you soon.